Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 17 here on Monteith with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, it is the last day of October, October 4th. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. Harvest has been in full swing all month here on Monteith, but I wanted to bring you in at this juncture and give you an update. And I have suspended time right now, so all operations on the farm have stopped. But we will get in the cab of the tractor and talk some about the goings on. But some of this I just had to do kind of feet on the ground. So that's what we're going to do here. I'll try and get through that as quick as possible, and then we'll get in the cab of the tractor and we'll talk some more. So last time we were together, we had done the sorghum harvest on our little field up by us. After that, uh, the harvest contract came in for sorghum here on field 2, which is this large field. Seeing as I can't point with my mouse on here for some reason, it's not recording it. Um, I'll move whatever field I'm talking about to the middle of the screen, but it's the big field there, odd shaped one, just straight south of our shop. We did a sorghum harvest on there for 74,000, and then we did a cultivating contract on there for 68,000. But that was it for contracts since we were together before harvest. So that brought our money up to 368,000. But then right and early in the month, first day of the month, we had a number of contracts lined up. And there were, wrong page here, 9 harvest contracts, 5 corn, 4 soybean, and then 2 other contracts, a cultivating and a hoeing contract. The hoeing contract was on field 10. That is the barley field that I hoped we would get to harvest that the AI did, but we did get to do at least a hoeing contract on there. And you can see AI has put barley back in there again. And then the cultivating contract was on field 15 here, the biggest field on the map. The AI at midnight, I guess, had gone and harvested that. I think that was a soybean field. But anyways, it went and harvested that, and it had a cultivating contract for us on there. So those are the 2 extra contracts. So those 11 contracts, the value of those was 341,000. So I added that to the 368 we had, and that gave us 710,000. So I went looking for a field that hadn't been harvested by the AI that we could potentially buy in that range. And it turns out that field 5, straight south of our house, was 788,000. So I went to the bank, hat in hand, told them what I wanted to do, and I borrowed 500,000 so that we could buy that field right away and we could get the crop off it. So that is now our field. So once I bought that, we were down to 80,000. And with part of that money, I put a deposit down and ordered up a grain dryer, put the pressure to them, and they have actually finished that install. And we're going to take a look at that here in just a minute. Just a couple other things I want to mention here before we leave the map quick is you'll notice that the AI has gone and put barley in field 10, barley in field 2, and there's a contract right now. It wants to put barley in field 4. I don't think I'm going to let those stand, especially since we didn't get the contracts on them last time. So at least 2 of those fields, I'm going to put corn or soybean in with easy dev. I'm just not going to let that much barley stay on the map. So other than that, we did all of the harvests again, other than field 10 and field 15. Okay, I think we're done with that. Is there anything else? Oh, yes. So we have completed all the corn harvest, and after we did that, there were $106,000 worth of cultivating contracts that have come in that we've completed. And then we did all the soybean contracts. And once we completed that, there were of course, the 4 field contracts came in for 100,000. And did we get Yes, we got a cultivating contract on every cornfield that we harvested. So there were 5 of them for 106 on the corn and 4 of them for 100K on the soybean. And the soybean ones are still being worked on. That's what I was going to show on the map. You can see that Rebecca is sitting down here in suspended animation working on field 17. And then the last one we have to do here is field 6, this long skinny one around along the road at our place. Okay, that takes care of that, I think. Now, another piece of good news is that we're keeping the Kenworth because I figured out the issue with the tarps on the trailers. It was actually a key binding issue, but it only pertained to this truck. It's the only truck I could find that had that issue, and I can't figure out what that key did on this truck. But anyways, I got it fixed, so we can close the cover so the Kenworth's not going anywhere. Now, I did mention that I ordered up a corn dryer. Put the supplier's feet to the fire, and I had the system. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Okay. I had them put the system in. Now, you're not going to believe. Yeah, if you've seen the thumbnail, I took that picture yesterday in game. And then overnight, these pipes hardly moved at all. This one down here in the very far end had moved, a little bit off. The one here in the middle hadn't moved at all, and the one here on the end, it moved like it just needed to be moved up just a tiny bit. I put all those pipes in position in game less than an hour ago. It's only been like an hour, and look where they're sitting. There's not one that's even close. Oh my goodness. So that's problem number one. But the idea was that we come in, we'd dump our corn here in this one, and it would go into this bin in front of me, and that would be our wet bin that have wet corn in it, and then it would come out with this pipe and over into the top of our dryer, and then out of the dryer with this pipe and over into this bin here, and that would be our dry bin, and then we had the 2 bins in the middle that were just for other crops. Now I did set all this up, but I just set it up to make sure the pipes all reached and there was a configuration that would work. And of course, once I did that, I thought I was done. Then you've heard me kind of complain a little bit about these pipes moving this whole series. Well, that is why I at least wanted to show you it. And I thought, you know what, if we could use it just a little bit and then had to give up on it, then I would. I'd just give it a try because I just thought it was such a cool idea to do that. But there were 2 other issues besides the pipe moving. One, I wanted to use auto drive to be able to load into it, and that meant this pipe had to go in exactly the same spot every time, and we would have to use that belly dump. That would have had to been in exactly the same spot, or I would have had to just auto drive all the time. So, well, I could do that if got it close and had to manipulate a little bit. It wouldn't be too bad. But that was going to be a bit of a nuisance, along with the pipes moving like this. I just cannot believe how much they moved in real life, like a half an hour. My gosh. But the real killer of this whole project was this right here. This will not activate the trigger here. I just assumed because it's an auger it would. I never even thought to try it. But it will not, pull from this granary. No way, no how. So it is dead. If if none of the other reasons were enough to kill the project, that one does for sure because it doesn't work. So I thought I'd show you this because I thought it was a really cool idea. But it is an epic fail, and so if you're going to try something like this, don't bother. And these pipes, I don't know, man, I just can't believe how much they move. Well, it's the Murphy way, isn't it? As soon as I get things set up to record, then they go really nuts. I think I did tell you when I had just the one pipe and I had a park behind here, I actually found it one time out in the middle of this field, like way the heck out there. It had gone. So, anyways, I am going to rip all of this out and sell it. I'm going to get all my money back. Now, there is a version of this with an in and an out, but it only has a capacity of 150,000 liters. At least this one does. I don't know if the one with the grate to dump in has more or not. But that meant I'd have to do a lot of trucking or something, moving corn. No, I'm just going to sell all of this off, get all my money back. I found another actually grain drying system, acts like a silo. It has a place where we can dump our with our belly dump trailer that auto drive will work with, and it has the added benefit of being able to dry our soybean. This dryer here it'll do corn, wheat, and barley, I think is all it does. So anyways, next time you come in, this will all be gone, and hopefully there'll be something here that that works. Yes. Okay. So that is it. That brings you up to speed here. I do have more to share with you, but I'll do that from the tractor. Let me get everything cranked back on here, and we'll do a little harvesting, and then we will. Uh, you know what? I'll tell you about that in the cab of the tractor. Let me let's do that. So I will catch up with you when I get all this going. See you in a bit. Okay, so we're just pulling up here to unload Bill. And sorry, it's a little foggy still here. Like I said, it's after 10. Get organized here. So Bill is in the harvester. I'm doing the carting. That is Amanda, you can see over there doing the baling. Sam is in the semi-trailer that we saw. And of course, I showed you Rebecca. She's busy cultivating in the field. Now, this is not going according to plan. What a surprise, eh? And I'll explain why. But you might recognize this area that we're heading to here where the semi is parked from last fall's harvest, actually. And you might remember that I had an auto drive route, and I had pretty much had this all automated except for these dumping of the semi. And that's originally what I was going to do. I was going to be jumping in the semi trailer, and Sam was going to be in the cart, and all of that would be happening automatically. And I was actually going to have that running in the background when I did the update. But I must have gone back and captured a save for some reason, because all of that setup I did here is gone. That auto drive setup, none of the points are here. And in real life, I didn't have time to set that all up and test it again. So I had to kind of, just roll with the punches. But my idea was that we'd be driving the semi and emptying it, not Sam. But I guess I could have set him up to go to the sell point, but I didn't think of that, and it's too late now. I'm not going to do it. So we're not going to show a lot of this harvest in any event. We're going to move to our new field and show some of the corn harvest here is where we're going to wrap up the episode. But I have more updating to do, so I thought we might as well do it from the cab of a tractor. So, as I mentioned, Bill is in the harvester. And harvest has gone fantastic. Like I said, all the contracts are done here in the first month. And of course, as it turned out, what it was is Bill and Sam and I handled all of the harvests, and that freed up the girls to do the other work that needed to be done. I guess I need to kind of take a look with it being so foggy. There is Amanda there, busy with the baler. She's probably going to catch up to us. Anyways, that left the girls to handle any of the other contracts. And last year we had a bunch of plowing contracts and then rock picking to follow on, and we didn't have the bodies to do. Of course, because we hired Bill, every contract that has come up other than the harvest ones have been cultivating, and we've just had one person working. So this is the first time that everybody on the farm has been out in the field. Before, the girls just shared the contracting work, which is good for them. Uh, but because the weather was so nice, we did two reasonably long days. One day was, oh, did I miss a bale? Oh, shoot, I did. I thought I picked all the bales up from the headland, so we didn't have this issue. Okay, close your eyes if you don't like Cheaty, because Super Strength's coming in here so I can get rid of. How did I miss that? Oh, Farmer Murphy. And I purposely stopped and thought I picked all these bales up so we wouldn't have that issue while we're recording. Oh, gosh. The best laid plans, as they say. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, so the girls just shared the cultivating contracts, which was good because that meant they didn't have to work so hard. And we put in 2 good days. That's where I was. We put in 2 good days um, to get the corn harvest done. Like they were, one was a 10-hour day. I think one was just shy of a 12-hour day. But like I said, we've had zero rain up until the forecast today is for rain at noon. And then yesterday, a bit of an easier day. Soybean goes a little quicker. We got all the soybean contracts done. Now, you might have noticed that that's the opposite way that I've been doing it. I have been doing our fields first and then the contract fields. And we have Bill to thank for that. That's one of the contributions he made, because when he came here and we kind of got set up to do the same system, he kind of asked a question, well, where is the main farm income coming from right now, your fields or the contract fields? And I said, well, contract fields, obviously. And he says, then why are we giving your fields priority? And he said we should do the contract fields first, and then that would give us more time to pick up any of the follow-on contracts, and then do your fields last. He said because the income impact would be less if we had to leave one of my fields behind, and we rather than missing out on a large harvesting contract or the contracts that followed on. So that was Bill's suggestion. So that was really good. So that's a positive from our buddy Bill. But we have been paying him. We paid him for 2 months. He did absolutely nothing. This is the first month that he's worked for us. And you know what? It'll probably be the last month unless we get really busy in the spring. Till next fall. That's why I said it's a little expensive, because, but I have to say, no complaints. The guy never complained. He always showed up on time. He's a real workhorse. He's not very sociable, but he is a real workhorse. And like he said, that advice on contracts was really good advice and worked out really well. Because as it turns out, we are looking at a fair bit of rain in November. That's why we're rushing to get these beans done here this morning before noon when the rain starts, because the corn recovers from the getting rained on a little faster than the beans. And we, after this field, will just have one small cornfield. The cornfield you can see across there, it's I guess you could call it medium, and then the larger field, the new one, to do. But we'll have all month to get that done, and then of course we can do pipes on that side. We can start doing some of our field work. But it hasn't been without a few issues, because when we found out that field 15 was being harvested by the field owner, Bill came to me and said, well, why was that? why was that being done? And I said, well, I didn't ask. And then there was some muttering and sputtering. And one word I did clearly hear was idiot. And I'm pretty sure that was directed at me. And he stormed out of the shop, jumped in his old truck, and headed off down to the field. And he came back a little while later and said the reason they were doing it was that they just didn't need us to do it because the harvest was going so well that they could do it on their own. They didn't think they should be paying us when they had their own workers that could do it. So hey, fair enough. But Bill was definitely not impressed with the way I was running the business. But frankly, like, we've been so busy, I didn't worry about if we didn't, you know, grab every contract in the whole area. Well, I guess I didn't word that right. We grabbed every contract that was offered, but I didn't worry about it if a contract wasn't offered or to find out why the customer didn't ask us to do it. So I guess that's a good thing that Bill bought, but I'm not a big fan of being called an idiot, I must say. But that's Bill for you. He doesn't, he's not shy about sharing his opinion. But overall, it's been a good thing. Like I said, it's just paying $60,000 for 1 month of work. Like, we may use them a little bit next month for the corn harvest, but we probably could get by with just our family on that. But I probably will get him to do it because I've paid him. But he's a little expensive, but he has provided some good advice, and he certainly is a solid worker. But kind of his demeanor is why I had him work with Jim and I, and didn't subject the women to him too much. Just felt a little safer, but I can't say at all that he was rude to anybody else but me. He saves that special treatment just for me. But no, it's gone really well. And I was a little worried that we wouldn't get this done before the rain hit, but I think we will. And we didn't start particularly early at about 8 o'clock, and it was 10. Actually, let's just put the HUD on here. See. Oh, that's a pretty good guess. I realized when I jumped in the tractor, I forgot to put the time up. So I just did it by guess and by golly, and I actually hit it right on. So, I didn't look what time it was. It's only 10:30. So, yeah, we'll easily be done before the rain hits. We could probably get a lot of that corn harvest done there. That's right by the shop. I am going to have to stop time here, though, and fix up our grain bin situation so we got some place to put our crop. Right now, our crop is sitting in the ether. Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you. Now, let me find that in my notes. We had 29,000 liters of soybean left over from contracts and 76,000 liters of corn. So that's what's sitting actually nowhere right now. I'll have to cheat it back in. Boy, that bale timing actually didn't work out too bad. I'm still probably going to have to stop her, but going to be real close. I'm going to be in everybody's way here in a minute, aren't I? Let's go over here. Everybody has done their thing, and we're safe. There we go. Oh my gosh. You know what? He must What I did is I just loaded the combine course into the baling tractor and set it loose, and they must have had one headland left here that I didn't notice. So when I went around and picked them up, normally this is what I do now, just off camera, is I just use super strength and move them out of the way, but I actually went and stopped my setup and went and picked them all up so they wouldn't be in the road, so you didn't have to see that. And as you can see, that plan worked brilliantly. And let's just jump into the map here quick and let's see how Rebecca's making out. Oh, she's going to be done right away. She's right at the end there. Well, she'll definitely have all the cultivating done by before the rain hits. And of course, there's not going to be any other contracts now. I can't think, because there won't be any stone picking. We didn't do any plowing. So wherever we're sitting at the end of this is where we're going to be through the winter, I'm thinking. Well, you know what? You probably don't need to watch Bill finish up that last little piece. And I'm going to need to stop the baler here in a minute. So I think I will leave you there. Um, the truck is full anyway, so I won't have any place to dump this in. And I will let these guys finish up. I'll stop time. I'll fix up our grain business. And then what we'll do is we'll come in and look at I'll save field 5, our new field, for last. And I'll bring you in when we're getting close to being done that. And we'll finish up the episode there. And we'll know where we're at financially and we can take a look at our new grain dryer setup. So I will see you, well, for you in just a moment. For me, it's going to be a little bit longer.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the farm. It is November 2nd, right around noon. You can see we have our new big corn dryer behind us. The contractors came through, boy, they installed that in a hurry. So now, as you can see, it has a very nice dump point for our belly trailer so that I can set up auto drive for it. And comes with its own auger pipe for taking out. So I got rid of everything but the little red unloading pipe because I have another use for that potentially later on. But we do need to provide this one with propane. Luckily, at the farmer's market, there's a place where we can buy propane, and they actually have a trailer you could lease. So I leased the trailer and brought down 30,000 liters of propane. Another advantage of this dryer, actually it's best if we go in and look, is it dries more than just corn. I think the other one did corn, canola, or corn, wheat, and barley. Well, this one does quite a bit more, or quite a number more crops, and it's actually fairly fast. It's already done our sorghum, and you can see we have dried sorghum here of 55,000 liters. Now, we had 69,000 liters, I think it was, of sorghum. So we lose some in the drying process. You can see basically 5%. And that is offset because this mod also puts the prices in. And if we take a look actually quick at that, at the prices for the dried crop. So dried sorghum has a peak at 714. That's not too bad. Dried corn, almost 1,000. The other mod that was at about 750, but you can take 5% of that away, of that price, I should say, because of the crop loss. But look at the soybean one. Ooh-wee. 2,300. So we're going to do pretty good on the soybean. Now, I said the other one didn't have a price for dried soybean, so couldn't tell you what that was. But again, we are losing 5% through the production, so that offsets the high prices a little bit. And this will hold 1.5 million liters of each, which should do us for a while. But I'm thinking before we end this series, we may need to put an extension in here, but we'll see. So how did we do financially? Well, to tell you the truth, better than I thought. I kind of didn't realize how much I'd spent on all that other stuff. So we were at about 250,000 when we started this, and we're now at 500,000. So we basically came out ahead, but part of that is due to a weeding contract we got on this field too here. That added $60,000 to the coffers. So we came out okay on that deal. I thought we were going to lose, but we didn't. Now all our fields down here are prepped and ready to go. Rebecca's been out subsoiling in the big dog and doing some liming. The only thing that's left to do down here is I believe we're going to have rocks in this field now after Rebecca finished. Yeah, we sure do. So we got to rock pick that. But we've got to plow up the other two fields, cornfields up top. So we'll just wait and get set up and do those all at once. But I think we'll easily get our work all done this fall. It's really nice. And so the weather's been pretty darn kind to us, and we've got a couple more days here of sun, so I think we'll get everything wrapped up. But let's jump in the old truck here and see how the boys are making out up top. So I will meet you there. Well, we're up here at our new field. You can see off in the distance there, Bill and Jim hard at work. Bill's running the harvester. Jim is in the cart. They had just unloaded before I started recording. So that's the first load since both the cart and the truck were emptied. And interesting little story here. You see Bill's old pickup sitting there. No international service truck. I stopped recording just a moment too soon because as soon as I started to drive away, the truck went nuts, went flipping in the air, and I actually ended up on my roof over here in this field. So I thought, I'll just jump out, use super strength, get it back on its wheels, and we'll carry on. No, sir. As soon as I exited the vehicle, it went spinning off again, and currently it's spinning off up in the ether there someplace, so I have to deal with that. I don't know what was going on there, but crazy. Here is the small cornfield. You can see it's limed. Bales are picked up, obviously, sitting there. So we need to plow that out, and of course it'll need rock picking. This field is good to go. We could seed into it, just some old weeds in here, but that's not a problem. This field down here, obviously, I wasn't thinking I should have had someone picking up or making the bales, but I didn't. But not to worry, we got lots of time. This one here needs to be plowed out and rocks picked as well, I should say. But Rebecca will sure get on that here as soon as she has a bit of a lunch break. And of course, I got to get the straw off here first. Oh, and speaking of straw, so far we've sold $50,000 worth of straw. Man, I am surprised at that. And I double checked, we are on hard economy. And yep, that's how many straw bales we've sold. So we've done better than I thought we would. Of course, we've got a fair volume of straw. It was the same thing when I sold all that equipment to put the grain bin in. After I had done it, I thought I made a mistake, so I dug out my calculator and added everything up because I thought, oh man, I put too much money in somewhere, calculated something wrong, but nope, it was right. So there comes old Bill. You know what? The other day, I almost thought I saw him smile. I'm not sure. He was just getting out of the combine and was a little dusty. Maybe he had dust in his eyes, but I could have sworn he almost cracked a smile. So this is the second dump into this cart. So, oh yeah, maybe one more. He might fill the cart up or just a tiny bit more. And like I said, the semi is empty. I just unloaded it. So we'll get about another between 40 and 50,000 liters out of here, I'd say. So if we take a look back in our production here, because we forgot to do that when we were in there, we can see that for corn, we have 252,000 liters wet, and corn. We have 60,000 liters just about dry. Soybeans, we have 69,000 liters wet and 59,000 liters dry. And in the sorghum, we already talked about. It's at, where was it? It's sitting here. It's at 55,000 liters. So that's what we have to sell. So we'll sell that off through the winter. Now, like I said, it's just noon on November 2nd, so we'll have no issues, I don't think, getting these fields turned around. There's just one little spot of rain in the forecast, so actually had brilliant weather this fall, so that's really good. But as usual, I used more time on the first section than I thought I had, so I don't have much time to spend here on this section. Oh, I should explain too, for those who may have not realized it, it's obvious to me, but it may not be obvious to everybody. But the reason we hired Bill is simply before I was limited to 4 workers or 4 machines running at once. And now with Bill here, I can have 5. And we pay for that. We pay his salary so I can have 5 workers. And I did that rather than pay the in-game worker fees, which can be pretty darn steep. And I didn't want to have to pay worker fees, obviously, for when the family was working. So that's the reason we got Bill, so we can have an extra worker. But we are paying for that. So with that, I think I'll leave you there, maybe overlooking the semi-trailer. I do like that. But that's where we're at for this fall. We will see you at planting time. Last I looked, there were no other contracts. So I think that's where we'll be sitting, just somewhere a little bit north of 500 grand come springtime, and we'll see what we do with that. But for this episode, we'll call it a wrap. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode here on Monteith, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.